Right, let's go. Thank you for coming. And any questions, put them in the chat box, and I can turn on your mic if you want to get involved. This week, we have on the data front, we have UK gilts auction tomorrow, US consumer confidence, New Zealand rates. Let's see. Okay, here's the biggie. On Wednesday, we've got US GDP. We're expecting a slight increase up to 5% in quarter-on-quarter GDP for the US. And so that's Wednesday. And Thursday, China manufacturing. OPEC's on Thursday. Nothing significant for the UK this week then, by the look of it. Can't see any significant UK data. Unless I've missed something. So apart from the gilts tomorrow. Right, so markets are pretty quiet. I'm just getting back after the long holiday in the US. And so the S&Ps here are getting close to the 23 high, this year's highs. I've got some concern though, because we've got this big spike up here and then a lot of nothing and then a smaller spike. It's just a bit concerned we're running out of puff here because we're coming up on lower volume, which is always a sign that the market at least needs some kind of pullback. I think we need a breather. However, if we close underneath 4,500 at any time, then hold on to your hats because that could, I think that's the most significant number here. But in the meantime, pullbacks are still viable. So if we see if they drop it away, only to about 50 plus pips, which is reasonable in the S&Ps, but a drop into 4,500 might get this market going. But I do think at the moment this is definitely running out of steam. I think we will see a pullback. So yeah, if this slips back, if it slips back and hold, the great back onto this support, and we get increase in volume and a buy signal here, great. Otherwise, close underneath here, and I think this could really start to wind down. Are we going to have a end of year rally? I don't think we're going to have any end of year rally. I think we're going to have an end of year whimper. Of course, I mean the US GDP is going to could be a clear indication of whether this is going to break through this level here and push up, but no reason to sell. Still reason enough to buy pullbacks. Until further notice. Dow. Yeah, so the Dow looks if it wants to do a whole 300 pip drop back into this support from September highs now. And surprise, surprise, as with the S&P, sitting up there with no volume. So that's not true. With lower volume. Switching, let's look at the FTSE before I go. FTSE looks much more vulnerable. This is a huge amount of support here. So if we close under 74.50, then this is going to fall off into the end of the year. But if we can start to close higher here, then I think we can push up to 23 highs. 23 highs is 76.88 on this one. At the moment, my money is on this coming lower. I think that is really struggling here. So we had this big drop on the middle of October, late October, and this drift higher has been pretty much of a whimper to me. So yeah, a close underneath that 74.50, and that could really stumble. Moving on, oil. Again, I don't think oil is happy up here at all. Well, we've come off of 92.80, I think it is 92.60, 92.80. I think any move back into that, if we do get a push back into that 80 mark, I think that's going to be the next leg down to 70.40, well, obviously the 70 area. So sleepy markets as we wait for GDP. Of course, if this pattern here holds, this series of higher lows holds, then yeah, I think we can punch up to at least 80 plus. But we are in a little bit of no man's land here at the moment on the oil and gold. Right. This is a every time we see a spike up here in the volume in the gold, sort of spike up here on the 13th of March, pulled back and then ran. So we saw significant volume coming in on this recent pullback. So when we were down here, we saw quite a dramatic increase in volume. So any pullback into 1975, 1980 could see us climb all the way up there through into this year's highs. But I'm hoping this is going to want to pull back. Silver's interesting as well. Yeah, so silver being the industrial metal, it is doing much better. But that's slammed right into a tough spot up there. But any pullback, I think, is definitely to be bought. This is coming up on volume. So any pullback into this big push on the 24th, any pullback to the 24 is definitely to be bought there to see if we can go and find 27 plus. This could end the year well. If we see we're broken out of this structure, if we just pull back any and start to come up on increasing volume, I think we can go back into 27 plus. I'm surprised we're not further up here. It's not been a great year for silver. Yeah, we're stuck in this January, February range, really. So January, February, March, we were, with the exception of we squirted lower early March, squirted higher early April, and we're not even able to close out of that yet. But if we do, on judging on the way the volume is picking up, if we close above this 25, then I think that'll open the floodgates for at least an attack of 27, if not 30. So on the theme of commodities, which is a theme I like a lot, let's come back to corn. I see we're just, this time of year, these soft commodities just react to the dollar, obviously because of the seasonality of these. So we are struggling with 490, pushed up to above 5 and then dropped right back again. So that's very bearish, that move in 20th of October. So it looks as if we need a good move back into this low support here of 450, 460 at the moment. Um, so back off of this one, but just keep a very close eye on it because I'm very ambitious for this. And I think it's a question of picking our spot, not walking away from it. So stay tuned. Wheat is these wheat and corn generally follow each other. Beans can be a bit of a leader. Beans has been a leader on that move to 14, and now we're drifting back again. So I'd be very interested in beans around this area here. Very, very interested. Quick catch up with a couple of things. Natural gas. I'm surprised. Yeah, so we gap down on the 6th. This is cyclically, this is absolutely typical for natural gas. Run up in the early November and then just all the big contracts are in place and then they let it drop. Copper, tough spot. 84.40 is a tough spot for copper, but any pullback to 83, having broken out here, I think is definitely viable. It could come lower. Anything could come lower, but if we just fall back into this breakout, I think that is where the next leg's going to come from. What else do I want to look at? Orange juice is still sitting up above 40 after that fantastic year it's had. And let's start looking at sectors. Start the banks. Let's catch up with Barclays. I think it's grinding higher. Yeah, so we've pushed up off of this 128, struggling with this 145, 140. Volumes have picked up. So if we can pull back, if we do see 130, 135 again, I think that at this stage that's viable. If we do that and we pick up on volume, then we could get the year into 150 plus. It's not a great chart. I'm not inspired by that. We saw this big drop off here from 162. So all we're doing is falling back into this. We've not been out of that sell zone since we popped up on the beginning of the month. So if we close underneath 135, this could get another leg down. But if we come into that support and hold, then we could push into 150, 160. I think the same can be said of Lloyd's. Yeah, see, Lloyd's is all right. And it looks as if we want to pull back into this, as with Barclays, we need to pull back into this early November support, I think. So 41 is a big number, only 42 now. Pull back into 40, 41 and hold, then we could wind back to 45 plus. But close underneath 40, and wow, that could topple down to 35. If we sort of pull back on that, you can see how much of a problematic channel that's got. Let's look at HL. And you said you've bought into HL. Yeah, I like it. It's got a lot to do. Obviously, be concerned if that closes under 690, but in the meantime, I'm with you on HL. It looks if we hold this area and start picking above 720, I think this could get a nice move on. Yeah, as long as we hold that and don't drop under 690, that looks good. And that is eminently viable now around the 695, 7 mark on HL. AJ Bell, a competitor. is trying to do a similar thing. So we picked up here in October 22 and ran. Potential head and shoulders. Shoulder, head, shoulder. Here's the neckline then. So we bumped into the neckline and got rejected. So if we can hold this support here, we could ping up, close underneath this 260, and we're going to see further lows. But a little bit concerned about the volume on that one, but it is a lower volume stock. So just if you want to get in or you're in, just manage your trade, and you should keep your account intact and potentially push higher. Right. Been tracking Prudential this year. I think that 880 is a good buy. I'm liking the volumes. I'm liking the way we've broken out. I think that we're 910, a retest of not, it may not go down there as far, may just do a retest of 9. But I think that could push up with a lovely move up here on October 22. We saw a pullback in November 22, and then we shot up into end of January this year. So I'm liking that. I'm liking that one a lot. I did some fundamental research on that one as well. Any questions, let me know. At the moment, you're all nice and quiet. Any other financials you want to look at? Let's look at LGen. Nice move off 203. Standard Chartered. That big drop got bought. Saga looks sad. Carry on the theme of commodities. Elementis chemical company had a lovely push into that 130. I think that is still buyable at 118. You might, if you're lucky, you might see 115 on that. If you're patient for 115, you might see that Man Group. Liking it. Saw some decent volume today, in fact. I think any retest of 210, 215, that could break through 235. Get the heck out of there if it goes under 2, if particularly under 2. TPI cap is already gone. But I think Man Group could do this. These guys are our competitors, TPI cap and Man Group. Let's keep a look on Gem Diamonds. Attempting to surface up there, could be a reversal. Miners, quick look through the miners as time is getting on a bit. Right, Pan-African at long last getting a bit stoked up. So you can see how I highlighted the importance of 15. We're currently 17, looks higher. Volume is increasing. Sylvania, yuck. Right, back to the gold miners. Centamin, lovely move off of that 77. Pullbacks still look bought. Hochschild continues the push up. That has been on a sweet move. This is one of yours, Andy, wasn't it? TGAT, I think, I'm pretty sure that was one of yours, wasn't it? I think that's why I got it on my list. Lovely move up here. So it's spent a long time getting consolidating, a very bullish consolidation. Look at the buying patterns. squirt higher in volume, squirt higher in volume, move higher in volume, and then as we break out on volume. So at that point, we were still increasing in volume once we hit the 8 mark. And this is potentially a good retracement here. Griffin, and then we'll move on. No, it's not worth looking at. Let's look at the retailers. You tell a lot. DFS attempting to hold these lows. Royal Mail Group, Sainsbury's. Ooh, Sainsbury's is picking up well, as is Tesco. Those supermarkets picked up well. Let's look at Primark. Yeah, wow, decent run. So I'm so switched off of retailers. I've not seen that push up. Let's look at Boo. Boo is building. That is building. It's definitely, if you are prepared to put some money on the table, that might push back at least into the 45 plus mark on Boo. Right, let's look at I want to look at the healthcare sector, and then I'm going to sort of wind up. The GSK, I think that is very viable at 14. I'm liking the pattern on that one. So any retest of 14, I think is a buy. Bristol Myers Squibb. Ooh, yuck. Medtronic. Yeah. So I talked about Medtronic. That's a very nice move. So a gap fill, whenever you see a gap like that, particularly in the US stocks, mark the gap bar off. If it holds, keep buying. If it closes underneath, wait for it to fill. So we're holding this at the moment looks as if that gap is not going to close anytime soon. It looks as if next stop is 82. So only pull back to 78 with a stop underneath 77. Could see that one get at least to 82, if not higher. This is a good solid stock normally, in normal circumstances. AstraZeneca. Ooh, no, that is not happy right now. Heading back down to 99, possibly lower. Wonder why that one, must be a story in that one somewhere, but the others are performing well. What else do I like? Let's catch up with a couple we talked about. Gemming I've not mentioned for a long time. Let's look at your dark trace. Yeah, looks all right. Threatening to push higher. Volumes are doing all right. And what's the other one? Hang on. Hydrax. Similar to Dark Trace. Getting a footing here and so if we close above 450, I think we'll see 550 on this one. Need a follow-up in the volume. The volume is dropping off here. Word of caution. That's all I've got for UK stocks. Anybody want to look at any US stocks? I mean, while I'm waiting, I'll just look at Rio's been on a nice run. Fresnillo. Let's look at FCX. Big US copper miner, copper and gold. That's already gone. Right. So to summarize, miners are doing well. UK retailers, the decent retailers have really been on a run. And oil is flailing, could potentially drop lower. Hence, a lot of the energy stocks are not great. I like the the Prus and the Barclays of this world look viable on pullbacks. Um, and overall, it's good. Let's catch up with Nvidia a second. I just have to sort of wind up now. Yeah, look at this. Nvidia's been a fantastic stock, gone right into those extensions up there at 48, 40. It's gone above 50. Seeing a lot of profit taking at the moment. Once these things break, they're very difficult to get into. Well, they're not, you can, in terms of managing the stock, you can buy anywhere, can't you? So I just wonder if that could peel right back, right profit taking place. Anything else I wanted to just run past you? Look at some bellwethers. There's Apple. So that looks as if that's struggling up there. Goldman's. Decent runs. Right, thanks for joining us, guys. You're very quiet, so I'll hope you got something from that. I'll leave you there and talk to you soon.